My next door neighbor across the street. My next door neighbor across the street. That's a real thing, right?
Eighth episode of the day.
My next door neighbor across the street.
This is a King James yard. From the Beer to Whiskey Studios on the taproom floor of Greenville Beer Exchange, or GBX as we sometimes call it, on Lawrence Street in glorious, wonderful downtown Greenville, South Carolina. I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this episode of Big Jon in 5. And we call it that because that's where my good buddy here, Big Jon Richards, picks a beer from one of GBX's 22 or so taps or hundreds of cans and bottles in the retail store up front, which we kind of did right here. And we sniff, we sip, we kibitz. John usually tells us a little bit about the brewery, although I don't know if he's going to today on this one. And a lot of times he'll even give us a little brewing history. And of course, we drink a little beer.
We're going to drink this one.
And we suggest that you go grab a beer as well.
Yeah, that's for real. If you don't have a beer, we'll wait. Go get a beer.
Put this on pause. We'll still be here when you get back. John, what do we got?
We are drinking a Prairie beer, Prairie Artisan Ales.
Which we have done something from that before.
I was trying to remember what it might have been, but I know for sure we did at least one Prairie before this.
I remember talking about these guys.
You're going to have to go search through the list and look for Prairie, but this one is Prairie just does some really, really great beers.
And it wasn't that long ago, now that I'm thinking about it.
Probably last time we shot here.
Could be.
So it's probably a pretty recent episode in the last several weeks.
And if we weren't both old farts, we would probably remember what the beer was exactly. Right. But I know we did something, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Proceed.
I wondered, and it'll be funny if it is, I wondered as I was standing up there looking at this one, there's another one up there called Not Subtle. And I fell in love with that beer at one point, and I went, I wonder if we already did that one. So I picked this Mint Condish instead.
I know we did not do this one.
No, I'm certain we didn't do that. So we're gonna
get around to it. It may not seem like it, but we're gonna get to it.
So Prairie's out of Oklahoma, and we talked about me doing my homework before I got here, and I had to go put my phone on the charger, and I was like, I'll be fine. So
he's winging it,
working without a net. So Prairie's out of I want to say Krebs, Oklahoma. It's a weird name, but they got like 4 tap rooms scattered around Oklahoma now and the surrounding area. I think they're all in Oklahoma though. But they started 20 years ago doing weird stuff, and they're still doing weird stuff today. I don't think they brew anything that's not weird.
Well, that's pretty much in your wheelhouse, isn't it?
It is.
I thought so.
Yes, it is.
I thought as much.
Surprisingly so. So this Mint Condish is super fun. I gotta read what's on it. Hopefully, it's a stout with cocoa nibs, vanilla, espresso coffee flavor. I misread that the first time through. Espresso coffee flavor and peppermint flavor. I know. I'm too old. My backpack's way over there, so I can't get to my glasses.
This is at least the 8th episode we've shot today, and every episode he's like, "Yeah, my backpack's over here and over there, and I can't get my glasses."
Yep.
What are you doing between episodes?
Homework, except for this time.
And then what were you doing? Nothing.
I was consulting with my employers.
I am carrying this thing on my back.
Yep.
I'm carrying John on my back. That's not a small feat.
Takes some extraordinarily broad shoulders.
It does, and a lot of go-to-ativeness and go get them, and we can get this done. See,
Woo! You smell that?
nothing stops me
Can
in my
you smell
tracks
that
like
already?
hearing a can of beer or
Right.
a bottle open.
Oh, yeah, start with you. We went looking for the ABV on this. It doesn't appear to be on the can. And
It has to be.
And because my phone is way over there, I can't look it up.
It has to be. So now I've got to look it up when I
Russ-
go to edit this
Russell put it on the bottom.
and put it down there. Just something else to eat up my valuable time.
Oop. Like I said, I'm a capitalist. I like creating jobs.
Yeah, I already have too many jobs. I'm like a Jamaican. I've got about 12 jobs.
Is that a thing?
Yes, it is. Excellent, Miss Lily. How would you characterize the style of beer?
So it's imperial stout. It's at
Okay.
least stout. I'm not knowing what the actual ABV is, but I'm certain this is imperial stout on some level. And with
220, 221,
with-
whatever
yeah.
it takes.
with all of this, all of these ingredients in there, and as big a beer as this is, imperial stout is where this goes. There's so much really, really like mint leaf, fresh mint on the nose of that. I mean, it really is. Like, I remember my next door neighbor across the street. My next door neighbor across the street, that's a real thing, right?
Eighth episode of the day.
My next door neighbor across the street.
This is a King James yard.
I used to mow her lawn when I was a kid. Her name was Miss Warwicky.
Is that literal or is that a euphemism for?
No, it's literal. I
Okay.
had a lawnmower,
Okay.
which may or may not clarify anything. But she had a little garden in back, and she grew things that were different.
Oh my God! If this,
8th episode of the day, kids.
if I wasn't trying to protect our G rating here, I've got so many things I could be saying. Go ahead.
So one of the things she grew in her garden was peppermint. And I was mowing her lawn, and she was out there tending to her plants. And so I asked her what that was, and she said, it's peppermint. She plucked a leaf off and chewed it. And I was like, that just seems really weird, but I like peppermint. Can I try that? Freaking kid. And she said, sure. So she plucks a leaf off, hands it to me, and I took a bite off of it, and I was like, what is that? But
Peppermint. I'm
peppermint.
assuming.
It was peppermint, but it tastes like a leaf at first, and then it tastes like peppermint. So you have to chew on it for a second to get the mint out of it. That is what that reminds me of. It's freaking fantabulous.
I think it's good. I think I'm suffering from palate fatigue.
It's possible.
Because I'm not really sensing any peppermint out of this.
I think that the only thing I'm getting is peppermint. But again, peppermint leaf. It's not like peppermint candy.
Maybe that's why I don't recognize it, because
Right.
I've never actually bit into a peppermint leaf.
Right. Well, you're missing out. Just ask Miss Warwicky, whose lawn I used to mow.
I'm sure she was a handsome woman and had a wonderful lawn.
Indeed. Now this is actually not what I
Did she-
expected out of this beer.
Did she call you up like at 9 o'clock at night, say, "Hey, could you come over and mow my grass?" Was that the kind of?
I'm really not going to answer that question, Russ. Back to the beer.
If that's a question of yours, put it in the comments down below.
Yes. Please do that. It's a little lighter bodied than I thought it was going to be. Like I know we just came off that big Southern Grist thing.
It's
that
a little-
went down
it's-
motor oil, but
Well, and I think that is what the issue is,
Yeah.
because I'm I'm sitting here going, this is a little thin.
Right.
It feels a little thin, and I don't think that's fair to this beer because we came off of.
Right.
We just did a segment on what was it?
This big Southern grist beer called Altered Stout.
And it's a
Motor
spoon would stand up
Yeah.
in the glass. It was high viscosity beer.
Yes.
This is a
Very low viscosity.
well,
beer.
not a low. It's probably a normal viscosity.
Well,
but
yeah.
Next to that, we're not doing it justice.
Right.
I blame him.
What's fun is that this beer, the last beer we had was a hammer. This beer is more like a carving knife. It's it's much more subtle.
Yes, it is.
But
it's delicious.
It's built to be. It's supposed to be that. And I think it's really well balanced. I think the flavors play well together. I'm getting the coffee. The coffee is really subtle. I'm getting the mint. And the mint is that weirdly natural, even though it says mint flavor on the can, it tastes like a natural peppermint instead of like a peppermint candy. And then there's...
you have a very vivid imagination, but continue.
Well, there's cocoa in there. There's chocolate. It's not rich. It's just clean. And a beer with mint in its name, I would not expect it to be heavy or cloying. I would expect it to be crisp and bright. And I think they've done that here.
I think a beer with mint in its name, I should taste some mint. Am I asking too much? Am I expecting too much? I don't think so. I'm
Agree to disagree.
Obviously, you have a more sensitive palate than I do, which is why you're a certified Cicerone, and I'm just a drunk.
I mean, we're tasting different things.
And peppermint isn't
What
one of them.
what I do and what I am, it doesn't. I don't understand how you put your nose in this beer and don't smell mint. I mean, that's literally the only thing I smell.
I'm just not getting it. I like the beer, don't get me wrong, I like the beer, but if
Yeah.
you said to me, what do you think the flavor profile of this beer is? Mint would be about 57th on my list.
I don't know. It smells like mint. All right. On that note, let's send these people on their way.
So damn lucky. See you next time.